Hi guys, welcome back. This is Math 76 for my 6th graders following along at home. We're working out of the Saxon 3rd edition book. Maybe don't get the teacher's edition. I don't know. It's just got the answers in it. Today we are going to be working on lesson 5. If you're following along at home, that is going to be on page 22. We're going to be talking about order of operations today, you guys. Have you heard of please excuse my dear Aunt Sally? In fact, if you can see it, I just realized I always reference it, so it's written back here. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. You guys, P stands for parentheses, E stands for exponents, M and D is for multiplication and division, and A and S is for addition and subtraction. Now you may notice, you've probably heard it called PEMDAS before, right? But in my case, I put my multiplication and division on the same line and my addition and subtraction on the same line. Guys, you're gonna do those. Sometimes you'll be doing division before you do multiplication. Sometimes you'll do subtraction before you do addition, okay? So those rules as they come up, we'll talk about them, but it's not always like set in stone. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, I have to do it this way. These are merely guidelines. You gotta use your judgment. And guys, my job is to teach you good math judgment. All right, with that said, we're gonna take a look at some of these. So let's do this. All right, we're talking lesson 5 here. I already started writing it down, so lesson 5. For following along at home, we are on page 23, and there are 2 good examples here, 2 good examples. So what we're going to do is do the first example. Please excuse my dear, I'm gonna write this right here. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. All right, parentheses, we don't have any parentheses or exponents yet. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. We don't have any exponents yet, so we're gonna go ahead and move on. We don't have any parentheses or exponents, so we're gonna move on. No multiplication and division, but we do have addition and subtraction. We're gonna go in order. So the first thing we do is this guy right here. Guys, when you're doing your homework, it's really helpful if you like underline what you're gonna be doing. Not just for me, but for you as well, because it helps you keep organized. But you don't want to be your own worst enemy when you're doing your homework, okay? But for your own, and when I say that, I mean like if you can't read your handwriting, what are you gonna do? All right, guys, so back on track here, 18 minus 6, we're gonna get 12, and we bring the rest of it down, 12 minus 3. 12 minus 3 is 9. 12 minus 3 is 9. Now, guys, over here, it's a little bit different. Do you see that? We have parentheses first. So we're gonna do this. And again, do you see how I underline what I'm working on? Shows how your brain is working. Guys, if you're taking tests, if you show me how your brain is working, I'm gonna give you more points than if you don't. So it's up to you. So 18 minus, and since we're doing that parentheses first, 6 minus 3 is 3. So 18 minus 3, right? 18 minus 3, we get 15. Guys, do you see how these answers are different based on those parentheses? This is why that's really important that you follow those rules of that order of operations. And again, it's not set in stone. There's going to be some times where we shift things around, but I'm here to teach you good math judgment. Good math judgment. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and write that right back down. PEMDAS. All right, guys. So take a look at example 2. We have for A, we have 18 divided by 6 divided by 3, and B is 18 divided by 6 divided by 3. Guys, we're probably going to get a different answer again, aren't we? Let's take a look here. Underline the first thing we do. So no parentheses, no exponents. Multiplication and division we do it from left to right. Oh, that probably didn't work for you. Left to right. Oh, you can see my lights. Got lots of lights. Got to light up, just like you guys light me up every day. All right, 18 divided by 6 is 3. Bring the rest of that garbage down. We get 3 divided by 3, which is 1. Guys, move on to the next one. We have 6 divided by 3 here. That is 2. Bring the rest of that garbage down. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Look at that roll. Those parentheses play in this. Very, very different. Good. So like I said, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. That first one is parentheses, right? I actually would love to call it grouping, but I don't know what GEMDAS is going to be like. Greatly excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I don't know. I haven't figured out one. And the reason why I want to change parentheses, I want to change it to grouping, because sometimes we have some implied parentheses that we have to deal with. Looking at example 3. 5 plus 3 divided by 1 plus 2. Folks, if you're looking at this example, we are going to be doing addition before we do division. So do you see how we're out of order already? The other reason why I don't like calling it parentheses is parentheses can signify a bunch of different things. They can signify multiplication, right? So we have 3 times 2. That would be parentheses. And when you're looking at order of operations, we're not saying, hey, do these parentheses first. We're saying that's just a multiplication problem. Math likes to be confusing. This is why I don't want to call it parentheses. Another example, you get 3 plus, and we haven't talked about these, but -2, that's an integer, negative number. When you look at this guy, the parentheses are there just to indicate that it's a negative number. Some people like to use parentheses for their negative numbers. Personally, I write it like this because less confusing, the better. Also, kids, I'm lazy. I don't like writing things unless I have to. So if I don't have to write parentheses, I ain't gonna do it. So parentheses mean a whole bunch of different things. So when you see this parentheses appear for please for order of operations, think grouping. And here's why. There is an implied grouping here. We need to do 5 plus 7 before we do, and 1 plus 3, 1 plus 2, before we do our division, right? So if we look at here, 5 plus 7 is 12 divided by 3, right? This is the correct way to do this. 12 divided by 3 is 4. There is your answer. So think of those as those implied grouping. All right. So on page 24, there are some practice problems, A through H. We're going to go ahead and do those together. For A, actually, we're not doing those together. What I want you to do right now is pause this video, take a look at that in your lovely notebook where you should be taking notes and writing down these practice problems. I want you to go ahead and do practice A through, whatever I said, H. Go ahead and do those problems. And then come on back, pause the video, do those problems, come on back, let's talk about them and make sure that you did them correctly, okay? So for A, we have 16 minus 3 plus 4, 16 minus 3 plus 4. All right, for this guy, this is the first thing you're gonna do, and you get 13 plus 4, we get 17. Excellent. B, 16 minus 3 plus 4, quantity, 3 plus 4. Guys, if you ever hear me say quantity, I mean parentheses, okay? So 16 minus quantity, 3 plus 4. First things first, we gotta do that garbage that's in the parentheses. So we're gonna do 16 minus 7. 16 minus 7, if you get that, you get 9. Again, same numbers up here, same numbers up here, different answers because of those parentheses. All right. Hopefully I've made my point by now. For C, we have 24 divided by quantity 4 times 3. All right, for this guy, we are going to do this first because that's our parentheses. 24 divided by, that guy is 12. Your answer is 2. Excellent. D, let's do it. I'm going to get into this a little bit later too, by the way, but if you don't start your problem with an equal sign, because there's no equal sign in this problem, right? We're not solving an equation yet. When you go to do your work, you need to be working downwards until the end, then you can do an equal sign, okay? On your homework, you should be working down, all right? Break your homework up into boxes so you can easily read and find your answers. In fact, if you circle your answers at the end, that's really helpful, especially when you're grading it. All right, so for D, we have 24 divided by 4 times 3. All right, so we're going to do this guy first because I don't see any parentheses here. 24 divided by 4 is 6, right? Yes, hopefully I'm not wrong. 6, and then I bring down that times 3. This guy right here is going to be, and you can either write it below or you can write it like equals 18, either way. But again, 18 and 2, different answers with those same numbers. All right, kids, E. I got 24 divided by 6 divided by 2. 24 divided by 6. This guy right here is going to be 4. Bring down the rest of that, divided by 2 equals 2. Excellent. F. 24 divided by quantity, 6 divided by 2. All right, for this guy, we're going to do this right here. So we get 24 divided by 3. That equals 8. Good. For G. Oh, I just erased my PEMDAS, so hopefully you don't need that. Hopefully it's ingrained in that brain hole of yours. All right, 6 plus 9. divided by 3. Here's another one of those where we break the PEMDAS rules. All right, so for here, we're gonna do this, and we can even throw some parentheses around it if we want to, just to say, hey, that's what we're doing. 6 plus 9 is 15 divided by 3, okay, equals, and this is okay if you wanna work kind of sideways when you're dealing with fractions, that's fine too. Just make sure that you're very clear about how you're organizing your work. All right, so, and I'm gonna do it here too so I can write without erasing. So 12 plus 8 over 12 minus 8. Folks, if you have seen fractions before and you've seen this, 7 over 7 equals 1, right? Because you can cancel this out. Divide this by 7, you get 1. Divide this by 7, you get 1. You can't do that over here. You can't just cross out 12 and 12. Don't try to do that. We'll talk about that much later, but you can't just cross those guys out. As much as I would love to, you can't. So 12 plus 8 is going to give us 20. 12 minus 8 is going to give us 4. 20 divided by 4 equals 5. 20 divided by 4. All right, guys. So those are your practice problems for this lesson. If you have any questions, let me know. Give the rest of the problem set a try. And I look forward to seeing you in our next lesson. Thanks so much, guys.